Yo, what's up guys, AFC Dino here, and welcome to our Mamoswine moveset guide for PokeMMO. First I'm going to talk a bit about Mamoswine, we'll go over the moveset, and lastly we will talk about a few good partners for the Mamoswine. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of this, make sure to subscribe to stay updated. Let me know down in the comments which Pokemon you would like to see next, and like the video as well. It helps out the algorithm. But without further ado, guys, like I said, welcome to our Mamoswine moveset guide. Mamoswine is a powerful ice type and ground type Pokemon with a unique dual typing that makes it a force to be reckoned with in competitive battles. With a base attack of 130 and a base speed of 80, Mamoswine is a physical powerhouse that can deal massive damage to opposing Pokemon. In this guide, we will be discussing some of the best movesets for Mamoswine in PokeMMO, including its most effective moves and strategies for using it in battles. Whether you're new to using Mamoswine or looking to take your competitive play to the next level, this guide will help you to get the most out of this versatile and formidable Pokemon. And like I said guys, first I want to go over some pros and cons with using Mamoswine, basically talking about the strengths and weaknesses. And while we're doing this, I might as well let's play in the background. So yeah, Mamoswine, his pros. He has good offensive stats. Mamoswine has a base attack of 130 and a base speed of 80. The attack is really awesome. The speed is quite mediocre though, but as a wall breaker, 80 speed is still really decent because it outspeeds most walls anyway. And yeah, this combination still makes him a really powerful physical attacker that can hit hard and quite fast as well. He has a great offensive typing with a combination of ice and ground, which gives Mamoswine a unique dual typing because I don't think there's any other in the game aside from his pre-evolutions. Yeah, due to this, he has an immunity to electric type attacks and resistances to poison. And yeah, due to his dual typing, he also is really strong against flying, poison, and rock types offensively. So think about the Crobats, think about the Tyrannitars, think about the Weezings. Makes him really awesome against those Pokemon. And yeah, Mamoswine has a really good priority move in Ice Shard. This move is stab, and usually the faster Pokemon that are faster than Mamoswine are usually pretty frail, which means that if they're low, then Ice Shard can do a lot of damage. If it's super effective, Ice type, then it can, in a lot of cases, kill, especially against the common Dragon types like Dragonite, Garchomp, and Salamence, which all share a 4 times weakness to Ice Shard, and they all die except with the exception of Dragonite when he's at full HP with his multi-skill. And one of his last pros is that he has access to Stealth Rock, and this is the best move in the game. Obviously, every team should have Stealth Rock in their team, and Mamoswine is really good at getting him up because he's quite bulky and he forces a lot of switches. Because if there are a bunch of Pokemon that are weak to Ice type attacks, think about Mandibuzz for example, think about Gliscor. Those Pokemon are usually forced to switch out, and you can just click Stealth Rock, and if they attack into you, you're quite bulky anyway, so you most likely live an attack from them. But yeah, now that we talked about some pros, let's talk about some cons, some weaknesses of Mamoswine. Defensively, the ground typing is good, but yeah, he still would be weak to water and grass types. And his ice typing is one of the worst defensive typings in the game, probably the worst, because that makes him weak to fire, fighting, and steel types, and mainly the fighting types, rock types as well. But yes, some of the weaknesses are getting covered by each other, and because normally he would be weak to rock types, but because he's a ground type as well, that becomes neutral. Normally he would be weak to ice, but due to him being an ice type, that becomes neutral as well. But he also has an amazing ability in Thick Fat, meaning that the now neutral ice type attacks actually become resisted does less damage because Thick Fed lowers the damage of ice type attacks you receive, and now fire type attacks become neutral, which is also really awesome. In the sense that there are quite some fire type attacks that can be threatening, but now Volcarona cannot knock us out from without the boost at least. Then we can hit back. We can basically stay in versus Volcarona, so that Volcarona cannot set up on us and click Earthquake without fearing their fire type attacks, for example. Which is really nice, of course. And due to Thick Fed, he also becomes a really good counter into stuff like Jolteon, which normally only has hidden power rise to hit him with, but now due to Thick Fed, it becomes really easy to switch in and not get punished as much. I don't see many Shadow Ball Mamoswines, Shadow Ball Jolteons though, so makes him really nice in that sense. Even though Jolteon is not that common, but it's just an example, of course. And yeah, those are a bit of his strengths and weaknesses. So let's just go over his movesets. The first moveset I'm gonna show on screen, I'm gonna edit it in, is going to be a Choice Band set, guys. A Choice Band Adamant nature with max speed, max attack. And the reason I'm going Adamant is just because of the pure raw power. Combining this with Icicle Crash and Earthquake. And let me show you guys an example why I am going with Adamant on a Choice Band set. Because right here, guys, let me change the screen. You'll see the calculator here. If we go to a Skarmory, for example, one of the best physical walls in the game, right? Icicle Crash does between 40 to 47% damage. With Stealth Rock up, this move suddenly. See? 47, Icicle Crash. This move should be a 2. Yeah, there's something wrong with my calc, I guess. Wow. Oh wait, it's with leftovers, yeah, because it's usually Rocky Helmet Skarmory. So as you guys can see, Icicle Crash has a 52.3% chance to knock out a Skarmory to hit KO him after Stealth Rock damage, which is insane. And if we're using a Jolly nature, we actually don't have that option. That's why I prefer Adamant, just because of the raw power, because I really want to use him as a wall breaker. Which makes it really nice. And then we have Ice Shard, of course, like we mentioned. Look at this, like a Choice Scarf Garchomp, for example, just dies. Max HP Garchomp just dies. Only way Garchomp could live is if he's like max HP, max defense, for example. And if Garchomp dies, Salamence definitely dies. Dragonite, like I said, can live. Ice Shard though, with the multi skill. Oh, did he just die? I thought he would live though. Oh wait, that's... Yeah, I was gonna say. So, Ice Shard. The Dragonite can live that, but if the multi skill is broken, Dragonite also dies. And like look at this. +1 extreme speed does less than 60% to Mamoswine. That makes Mamoswine a really good check into Dragonite as well. So all those dragons, because dragons are really common in the meta, and like I said, Mamoswine does really well into them. Look at Amoonguss, guys. This is a max HP, max defense Amoonguss with a bold nature. Icicle Crash with an adamant nature. There's a 94% chance to knock out the Amoonguss. If we run a Jolly, then it's only a 43.8% chance. So that means that Amoonguss at full HP could live as our attack, and if we don't knock him out, we're gonna take like 65% damage from Giga Drain, and he's gonna heal a lot back. So in that sense, I would rather just go with the adamant nature. And yeah, like I said, the only time you would want a Jolly nature is against the Breloom. But if I run Jolly, I probably won't even run I won't even run Choice Band. Then I would just use Metronome, I think. If I use Choice Band, I just want to go adamant and do as much damage as possible. But yeah, that's gonna be the set. Hey guys, one interruption. Something really cool. One calc I wanted to show as well is Mamoswine. versus full Corona. As you guys can see, Fairy Dance, it does less than 70% to us. That's due to our thick pet ability, reducing the damage from fire type attacks we receive. But at full Corona, a timid one with max special attack gets to +1. Fairy Dance still is not a guaranteed KO on us. It's only a 6.3% chance to knock us out, while Earthquake in return will always kill an offensive full Corona. If we're facing a bulky full Corona, if they are running max HP, max defense, we're still doing more than 75% to full Corona, while full Corona in return never kills us at +1 with Fairy Dance. As you guys can see, even Bug Buzz does more damage. So with Mamoswine, we can become quite a good check versus full Corona as well. Yeah, let's go right back into the video, guys. For it's gonna be the set for the choice band one, and now let's take a look at the metronome set, because metronome is something I'd like to use as well. As you guys can see, let me actually show you what metronome does. Some of you might not know, so I'll take my own Mamoswine as an example. So metronome is an item held by a Pokemon. It boosts the power of a move by 20% for each consecutive use, up to maximum of 100%. So basically, you can stack this up to 5 times, and every time you attack with the same move, it gets boosted by 20%. So at max value, it's basically the same as a Sword Stance, which is really powerful. It's basically the same as a free Sword Stance. However, this does get reset though if you click another move. So let's say if I spam Earthquake 4 times, I have a boost of 80%, but if I click Icicle's Crash and then click Earthquake, then it will be at 0 again. But yeah, this is really nice against Pokemon that switch into us and spam their recovery moves. Think about Jellicent, think about Skarmory. You click Earthquake or Icicle Crash on them, and usually they keep roosting, but suddenly you keep doing more damage to the point where you can 2-hit KO them, which makes it really nice as well. And I do prefer Adamant though, but if my team is weak to Breloom, I might go for Jolly so that I can get the guaranteed Ice Shard off before they can Mach Punch me, in case they're Jolly themselves. And with Jolly, you can also, if you're really weak to Togekiss, then you might want Jolly. So in case you run into a max speed Togekiss, you can potentially win the speed tie. And like I mentioned earlier, Stealth Rock is a really nice move. But if your team already has a Stealth Rocker, then you can run something like Superpower or Toxic instead to annoy Rotom switching into us. But yeah, if you don't have a Stealth Rocker on this team, then Mamoswine is still a really solid option. Because against things like Garchomp, Gliscor, Skarmory, you can just get up rocks without fearing much, because they are usually forced to switch out. Skarmory probably stays in, but Garchomp and Gliscor, they usually switch out. Be careful doing this against stuff like Amoonguss or Empoleon, because they might decide to stay in, and they can hit you with a super effective attack on the special side, which you probably don't want to take. So in those cases, be careful. But Pokemon that don't threaten you, like Gliscor, Skarmory, or Garchomp, you can easily click Stealth Rock, and Mamoswine is quite tanky. As last move, that one is not really common, but it's definitely an option. We run it with a Focus Sash, and instead of Thick Pet, guys, we use the ability Oblivious. And Oblivious makes sure, due to Oblivious, we cannot get taunted, and due to the Focus Sash, we don't die in one hit, meaning that we probably use this on a Hyper Offense team. We can lead off with the Mamoswine, get up our Stealth Rock without our opponent being able to taunt us, and if they bring us down to 1 HP, we can click Endeavor, so that they will be at 1 HP, and if we are still alive, we can click them with Ice Shard, and Earthquake is going to be our most powerful attack anyway. I prefer this with a Jolly Nature, of course, just because I want it to be fast, as fast as possible. For example, if I run into a Breloom lead, I want to be able to Ice Shard him, for example. I want to be able to get up my Endeavor before my opponent can attack as well. And yeah, this one won't be that as common. Mainly you'll see the choice band or the metronome set. Sometimes you can see a choice scarf set, but choice scarf I'm usually not that afraid of because your choice scarf is usually jolly as well, and choice scarf is usually sacrificing its power, and it's really easy to switch into a choice scarf Mamoswine if you just have a dedicated wall. Because a dedicated wall will struggle switching into a choice banded Mamoswine. Even Rotom and Slowbro can take a lot of damage from Mamoswine. That's why this guy is such a powerhouse. And yeah, lastly, guys, let's mention a few good teammates. I will go to the statistic page. Where is it? Mamoswine should be up here. Look at his usage rate, guys. Like I said, his usage rate went really up. I think it's due to Amoonguss coming into the tier. Let's see, the most common nature is Adamant as well. 90% of the time you face Adamant Mamoswine, and with good reasons. But yeah, a few good teammates. Rotom Wash, like I mentioned, he is kind of weak to entry hazards because you typically don't run leftovers on Mamoswine. So every time he comes in and takes 12.5 from Stealth Rock, that's damage you cannot heal back. And so in a long battle, Mamoswine might suffer from that. So having Rotom Wash there to debug. Rotom Wash also a water type resist for Mamoswine can be really nice, and his ability to click Volt Switch and get in Mamoswine for free in a lot of cases is really helpful for the Mamoswine. Another good partner would be Amoonguss, because Mamoswine does have the fighting type weakness. Amoonguss has the resistance to fighting types, so that can be really helpful for Mamoswine, and Amoonguss also has a water type resistance. So that way we have a switch into Rotom Wash, for example. And we can click Spore, giving a free turn to a free opportunity to get Mamoswine in, for example, which can be really nice. I think Gyarados can be a really good partner as well, because Gyarados has a 4x weakness to electric types, but Mamoswine has an immunity to electric types. So that can be really helpful. Some other partners, Chansey or Blissey, can be really good. Is they have access to Wish and Teleport, which allows us to heal Mamoswine if we need to, since he doesn't have any recovery. Mienshao also really nice in the sense that it can, with an Assault Vest, it can come in on many special attackers. We get the U-turn into Mamoswine, can be really helpful. And Garchomp is one of the most common Pokemon and Dragonite that is used with them, because Mamoswine can wall break for them, so that a Choice Scarf Garchomp, for example, can sweep. A Dragon Dance Dragonite could potentially sweep, with Mamoswine weakening the opponent's team a lot. And yeah, I guess Tyranitar could be cool, because the Sandstorm from Tyranitar does extra chip damage. Meaning, and because Mamoswine is a ground type, Mamoswine is not affected by the Sandstorm damage. And the Sandstorm damage combined with Stealth Rock could mean that some Pokemon do get 2-hit KO. Think about the Rotom Wash hitting him with Superpower, for example, after you weaken a Rotom a bit before. Can be really helpful. And yeah, Tyranitar's Pursuit also allows it to trap Starmie, which is a really good check into Mamoswine, because Mamoswine does get beaten by Starmie if Starmie can come in for free. Speaking about Starmie a really good partner as well, allowing him to Rapid Spin, getting rid of the entry hazards for Mamoswine while keeping up our own rocks, which is really beneficial to Mamoswine as well. And obviously, his Starmie Psychic typing also helps against fighting types, which Mamoswine is otherwise weak to. Yeah, I think that concludes my analysis on Mamoswine. Hopefully this moveset guide was helpful to you. And if it was, make sure to hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel and let me know down in the comments which Pokemon I should cover next. And yeah, guys, also check out my Patreon. I have a lot of team building videos and PokePasts on the teams I use in my videos, and streams on Patreon, basically explaining everything, giving away all my secrets. You can also check it out for my team building support. because I do offer team building support on Patreon, helping people build their teams, and I also offer PvP courses for the people who really want to improve and get good in Pokemon PvP. Check it out, link in the description. But with that all being said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.